handle the truth.
I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Ooh, the government told me what the date was. You guys ready? It's June. Yay, June 2nd. It's a Tuesday, 2026. Well, guys, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Well, guys, there is... I am amazed about how much bad information is out there. And I'm actually amazed at how much of it it's getting picked up so much faster now, that how bad the narrative is with the Iran thing, with Israel thing, blah, 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 blah. So there's some things happening in this whole situation that, guys, I think there's going to be some pretty cool things going on. But there was some discussion. Excuse me, I'm winding up my old headphones I used to use here. There was some discussion with Trump that I guess him and old Bibi got into it. So, again, it's like, hey, I don't have a problem, Israel's a country, Judaism is a religion, Jews are a lineage. When I want to say I want to, help a country, okay, well, that's one thing, but I'm not doing it for bloodlines or religion. You follow the math on that? So anyway, those things were going around yesterday. There was some hubbub about, Trump this and Trump that, and which is cool. I mean, I understand. There's got to keep the popcorn popping. Good to see you, Brenda. Thank you for being here. So, anyway, I just thought it was interesting to kind of watch how this whole thing keeps flopping back and forth. When Trump is saying, hey, we're right here, but then there's, oh, no, we're so far away. Oh, we're not here. We're there. Oh, we can't do this. We can't do that. The sad part of this is, guys, I don't know what the hell these people are talking about, because what Trump says and what the media keeps trying to say is reality are so far from reality. These guys are getting caught almost the moment they say it out loud. Now, granted, there are people out there that will always take whatever the legacy media says as gospel. Oh, Peter Jennings, I used to watch Peter Jennings with Marge and Charlie all the time when I lived with them when I was a kid. That was a thing. I watched Peter Jennings because I thought he was an intelligent man helping the world understand the news of the day, only to find out he was CIA. Brokaw, CIA. All of them. CIA. Yes, guys, listen. We all run around and we don't want to be told the truth, and when we're told the truth, we want to deny the truth. Well, we want the truth. Jimmy, tell me the truth. Well, the truth is this. Oh, no, that's not the truth I wanted to hear. That's not what I... See, now we're here. So, all right. A couple things going on in the world today. Marco Rubio was on... He was on in the House or Senate or whatever it was, and he was getting berated by all the Democrats. And one of the ladies, I found it very interesting that one of the ladies was sitting there trying to tell Marco that he was at a house party or something while they were trying to negotiate with Iran. Now, can I do something here for a second here? Let's just stop for a second. Let's say my name is Marco Rubio. Hi, I'm Marco Rubio. Not in real life. I only play him as an actor on TV, right? Like everybody else. Now, let's say I, Jim Price, have a party that my friends told me 3 months ago. It's a baby shower, an engagement party, somebody's birthday, whatever it is, right? And 3 months ago, they're like, Jim, can you make? I'm like, bet, I'll be there. Not a problem. Now, for me to slip away for an hour or two or even 3 to go to a greeting or a meeting or a get-together or a party or a rave where I got my shirt off and I'm sweating because I'm, whatever it is, right? That's my choice. But to say that you have to be present because, well, you're the Secretary of State and there's this negotiation going on, you got to be there. Well, let me explain something to you. That's not how it works. If you're telling me that the Marco Rubio being in the room is the only way that negotiations for peace is going to happen, then you don't understand how chain of commands and how this whole thing works, do you? Well, you're a Secretary of State. You're supposed to be there. Listen, folks, these are human beings. These are people just like you and I. And guys, listen. All right, listen. I've been there. Okay, I've been in the buildings. I've met the people. I've done the stuff, and I will tell you that when I say they're just like you, I really do mean that. There are some very bright, very intelligent, very articulate people who have leadership skills that abound. I get it. But I'm saying like 90% of the people are just like you that are in D.C., and they literally have no more extra talent or abilities than you. They're just there, and they're just doing that. So as this woman kept going on, I didn't understand. It's like, lady, like, what are you doing? Let's say he was at a party. He was getting drunk. Yeah, I got 29 beers and my beer ain't one. You know, he's just having a great time, right? Well, that's fine. That's his own personal responsibility. That's what he wants to do. If he wants to take personal time, just like Kash Patel taking the FBI jet down to Nashville to see his girlfriend sing for 3 hours and then flying back. Anyway, and again, that we went through this with the original FBI director, that he is required to travel always in the private jet, no matter whether it's for personal or pleasure. That is a requirement of the office to maintain and always be traveling with the government jet. Sorry, guys. You don't like it? Talk to your legislators. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this lady's clip. And I know that I've already kind of talked over it, but I want you guys to understand, I don't think that somehow, if I was going to, let's say, hey, Jim, we want you to be, what would I be? What would I want to do? What job would I want? What job would I want? I'd want the job of Interior, Secretary of Interior, I think, or Transportation, or EPA. I never really thought about what position, if I was like a cabinet position. I never really thought about that. But I would love to work with the Interior, because I would want to go ahead and work with the rivers and the dams and the forestry and the oil and all that stuff, to be able to say, listen, we can do all these things. We've learned how to master all this stuff. Why don't we just do that now? Now that we've sit there and squeezed all the lemon juice out of the lemon, and we're like, oh, you oil guys, Well, we've made it to where the point is now that as oil is coming up to the surface of the earth because of the chemical processes of the earth, okay? Well, we now take oil out of the ground without ever touching the soil or ever hurting an animal or ever doing this or ever doing that. And by the way, it's called carbon. Anyway, so I don't know if I would like to, I don't know. I think I would be in Department of Interior or EPA. These are things that, as a construction guy, as an engineer, as a guy who's a defense contractor, these are all things that were heavily, heavily regulated and did absolutely nothing to make the world a better place. So anyway, let's get down here. And like I said, I guess I don't have a video for him for that one. Oh, man. Oh, wait, yeah, we do. There we go. There it is. There it is. I thought we didn't have one. Well, what do you know? What do you know, man? All right, so this is her. She wants to give it the business here to old Rubio. So let's listen in to the wisdom here.
You were at a party with President Trump in Miami instead of accompanying Vice President Vance to Pakistan for negotiations.
What party was I at?
Secretary Rubio.
You're 100% inaccurate and 100% wrong. Here's why. Number one, the Vice President of the United States was there. And he wasn't confirmed by the Senate. He was elected by the American people. Okay? He is the second in line to the presidency of the United States. He was president. Mr. Witkoff is the president's envoy for negotiation for peace deals. Mr. Kushner is a private citizen that serves as an advisor on these functions. They were the team that we sent to Pakistan. I was not at a party. Where I was is next to the president. Because in the midst of those negotiations, I was in communications with them. And in fact, I think there is media reporting from that evening on how on multiple occasions I went into a back room, I came back out and spoke to the president and was constantly updating him. On that evening, I spoke to Mr. Kushner and our negotiating team and Mr. Witkoff on at least 6 occasions, including twice on a secure line from the phone they had access to over there. So you don't know what you're talking about. You're just
Senator
making
Rosen,
stuff up.
he has the floor.
I know your staff wrote up this cute statement for your TikTok video, but it's not true and it's not real. That's not what happened, Okay? I'm the National Security Advisor and Secretary of State. I was co-located with the president in the midst of a high-stakes negotiation so that I could immediately inform him about events occurring halfway around the world. I was where I needed to be at that moment because we had a very capable team on the ground in Pakistan, led by the vice president.
Sorry about that, guys. Well, it seems to me like Marco Rubio just put everybody back in their place in a way that is actually like more incredible than you realize, because the problem with it is if, let's say, there is a continuity of government. I don't know if you guys know what this is, like, and so it's the idea that if the president were taken out, the vice president could take over. If he was taken out, the secretary of state could take over. If he was, there's that chain of command, right? Well, the fact that Trump is actually going out and doing what Trump wants to do because he can, because he's a human and he gets to do those kind of things. And then the fact that he was smart enough to say, hey, Marco, go with me here so that way you can keep me in touch and keep me informed of what's going on during the negotiations, because the time difference will put it while I'm at the party. Can you do that, sir? Oh, yeah, man, I'll do that for you. Let me take the calls for you. Again, I don't understand this. This is like, are we not making the cheese? Are we not getting everything done? I don't know, guys. The exchange between him and her, they did not play as much of her as they should have. Her entire statement was just absolutely lambastus. I was like, what in the world? Like, shut up, lady. So anyway, that is a process that Marco went through today. Again, he has been able to really keep himself in a steady pace and make sure that he does it in the right way. A couple things. EU climate scam exposed. IPCC admits doomsday scenario was implausible. Garbage, but Brussels refuses to scrap a single regulation built on the lie. So the problem with it is that, guys, we have a lot of these people who have found that when they took control of the environmental issues, when they took control of certain industries because of environmental issues, because they wanted to fear everybody that the whole world is catching on fire, we're all going to die. Anyway. The sad part of it is when the lie is exposed or when people are, shown what's really going on, a lot of people just can't stop lying. They just can't stop lying. Now, I'm going to, in that moment there, I'm going to transition a little bit for a second. I had some personal things going on this year, and I don't know if you guys have all been a part of it or have heard all the different things, but there has been some things that happened to me this year. So this year, I began January 1. I fell down, broke 5 ribs in 7 different places. That means I had 2 bones that were floating. And then one of those bones then put a hole in my lung, and it was collapsing my lung because the air inside of my chest was pushing down on the bag called your lung. Spent 6 days in the ICU, did all that good stuff, and la-da-da-da-da-da, here we are. Bob's your uncle. Now, so through a certain things in my life, I have told you guys about, my mother. I've told you about Marge and Charlie. I've told you about my grandmother. I've told you about some different things that I've experienced throughout my life. And I will tell you guys, listen, I do believe, like Daniel in the multicolored code of things, I do believe that the trials and tribulations and the temptations and the things that I had to go through were absolutely necessary. I think going through all the things I went through 8 years ago with all the political stuff, absolutely necessary. I had to go through certain things to be prepared for really this year, 2026. And so as I'm looking around in my life and I am seeing all these things, and 10 years ago, I started the health journey of getting myself in a healthier way. And I will tell you, I thought 5 years ago I had shit going on. I thought I was doing pretty good. And then actually, 4 years ago, I thought, man, I'm almost there. 3 years ago, I said, man, I'm getting it. Boy, 2 years ago, I don't know as much as I thought I did. I've got a long ways to go. A year ago, I've got so much more to work on in my body than I ever realized. This year, I will tell you that I will continue to work on getting the functions of my organs at their optimal level mineralizing everything I can, bringing in as much salt as possible, and knowing that I can turn my body around and add years to the end of this whole experience and quality of life. Now, that journey started 10 years ago. And then 8 years ago, I decided to run for office in a way that I did not realize it was going to destroy my life. Now, I've had conversations with you guys and others throughout the years, and I looked at the litmus test that they looked at me and said, is this guy willing to be corruptible? If we gave him $1 billion, would he say yes? Well, the answer is going to be no. And stubbornly, you know, listen. Here's the humanity of this. When I was going through all these things and I realized really what it was about, the fact that I would not comply, I would not give in, I would not be brought out, I wasn't that guy. And no one ever, and here's why I say that. No one ever asked me. I was pissed. At least give me a chance to turn down the $1 billion. Give me a chance to think about it for a half a second. Give me a chance that I could let me do a little of that, right? Let me feel like I made a choice. Not something being done to me because I might be dangerous to them, but let me be dangerous first, right? Let me affect you. But the sad part of it is I learned about the case, and the marshals, U.S. Marshals, gave me the information and all the different things that came to me about the judges and the DAs and the sheriff and the police chief and all the people downtown and them two little towers right next to each other. City Hall and Sedgwick County sit right next to each other on opposite corners, and those two buildings are synonymous with the most corrupt things on earth. Nobody's paying attention to Kansas because it's California, it's New York. Oh, no, it's Atlanta. Oh, it's Chicago. But nobody's paying attention. And so as I learned about the evils that people do, I learned about the text messages that goes from a Wichita phone to a burner phone. Jim Price cannot win, take him out. 3 days later, boom. They didn't even knock, actually. It was called a no-knock warrant. They just took the battering ram right straight to my door. As I'm opening the door for them to let him in, I'm like, can I help you? That's literally what I said to him. But here we are. But the point of it is that the things that I've had to live through, the things I've had to go through, has actually made me a better man. Now, I have given you guys little bits and parts of my story. And I want to go. I did. Let me jump ahead a little. Let me jump to the punchline, but not the end of the story by any stretch of the imagination. So over a month ago, a while back, I had sent out some information looking for different people and looking for my father, and I was on Ancestry, doing the whole thing with Ancestry, trying to figure it out, getting that whole thing done. And I will tell you, the sad part of it is that I was told that there were, okay, so my last name is Price, okay? My mother married Ralph Price. She divorced him 3 months after I was born, and then turned me over to the Sanchez family, which was a first-generation Mexican family who came over, Peter Sanchez, he actually came over, joined the Air Force so he could get citizenship. So him and his wife started having children in America because he had gained his citizenship through the Air Force, which I think he retired as a staff sergeant. Anyway, senior staff sergeant. So my point is that here it is. My mother, she tells me, oh, I got pregnant by some other guy, and then Ralph Price came back from Vietnam, so I married him. Cool story. And then immediately divorces him, then turns me over to the Sanchez's, but then comes back at 5 to come pick me up, and then I'm on the road. I'm in probably 6 to 10 schools per year. About every other few weeks, I'm moving a different school, moving a different apartment, living in a different place. And this goes on for probably about 4 years. And where I was during those times, I will tell you guys, there's very, 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 very little information I can give you. Most of that is just blacked out. Now, there are little blips here and there about trafficking and other things like that I know have come up, and I've seen those things. But really where I was at most of the time, I could not tell you. I do know I was between Phoenix and Wichita a lot. So I'm kind of giving you that story. So my mother says, well, I married this guy, but this guy is really the guy who got me pregnant. But about a month ago, I found another guy. I've never met Ralph Price. I still carry his name today. I don't know who he is, never met him. I have not been able to find him. I'm not really searching for him. And then Randy Cannon, he died about 4 years ago. And I'm sorry, I should not have said his name out loud. But anyway, he's not my dad. My mother kept saying, this guy Randy's your dad, this guy Randy's your dad, this guy Randy. He wasn't. It was absolutely BS. So my problem is that, my mother's telling me this information that, oh, this guy is this guy, and oh, I married this guy, and that's why you carry this name. Well, I'm not even carrying the name of anybody who really gave two shits. I'm not trying to be mean to Ralph. I don't know where he's at, and like I said, I have no animus towards him whatsoever. But the sad part of it is that just a little over a month ago, I actually received a message back from Facebook, and the gentleman that I had messaged through, and I had left a little ancestry, and I said, let's just do this. Golly, that scared the crap out of me. Let me just do this real quick, and this is nothing personal. It's not a big deal. And like I said, I'm not going to share any names right now. I did share the one guy's name, but he's been passed, and we'll go with that. So, real quick, we'll just kind of go down through it and how it all started. It says, and this was what I had sent out to him. It said, we have a family match on Ancestry. My mother was, I do not know who my father was. And he says, what was your mother's maiden name? And I told him. And I said, he goes, well, blank blank is who I knew. What is your birth date? I said, that was my stepfather's name. So what happened was my step-grandfather, he told my mother and my aunts and uncle that they are required to use Rogers. Excuse me, I guess I said Rogers. I guess that's not a big deal because it's not a part of my lineage whatsoever. So the sad part of it is actually my grandfather, Grandpa Dick, well, he was edged out of my mother and aunts and uncles' names. So I don't know what happened there, but this guy seems to be a bit of an authority figure. And so he required the kids to change their name. And I said, well, that was and he goes, what is your birth date? And I told him my birth date. And he goes, did your mother have a sister? I said, yes. And did they both live in Phoenix? I said, yes, they did. I lived 4 houses down from them, and I said, yeah. I said yes, and he said, hello, son. So I have been really trying to work on how to have this in my life. And I am absolutely excited, joyous, complete. I mean, everything is very positive. But it's also very confusing because it took until I was 55 to be able to say I have a dad. Hey, my dad's calling. I gotta go. Hey, I gotta take my dad. My dad's calling on, so I gotta talk to my dad. I know that sounds really, really simple. But I've never had that opportunity. Even with Charlie. Charlie never said anything about calling him dad. He never made it a thing, and he was very gracious about that. Charlie was a good man in that respect. Marge never even whispered an idea of being a mother to me. But anyway, so as this whole thing is coming down, I when I was in Sedona 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was talking to him. I'm like, oh, hey, Tony, I got my dad's calling. I got to go. And I'm like, I've never said that before. This is like a moment for me. And it seems like that should be like a no big deal. Oh yeah. I need to call my dad, or this is my dad, or I've had a person I could call dad. And that's just not the point. That's not it at all. And we messaged back and forth a few times on Facebook, and here's the crazy part, and I'll give you this. I don't know if I even told him this part, but I did. I said something to him about it. I said, hey, I almost thought you were gone because you really didn't have any action on your Facebook page for like a couple years. I thought maybe you'd already passed. And he goes, oh, no, I just don't pay attention to that Facebook stuff too much. And I was like, cool, I get it. But the idea that he bothered to check his messages and then he bothered to respond and then all these different things. And then when I did say this was my birthday and this is who my mother was and he called me son, that is a lot. And I wanted that. I wanted him to just say that. I wanted him to just be my dad and not have to make it an earned it shouldn't be an earn. To be my dad, I shouldn't have to earn that. And in too many ways in my life, that was pretty much the situation, is that I had to earn love. I had to earn food. I had to earn shelter. I had to earn, whether I could go do things. And so when this whole thing came along, hey, Charlie Francis, good to see you, man. Thank you for being here. As he decided to just say, hello, son, everything just stopped. All the stuff that I had kind of worked on in my head and all the different things, everything just kind of came to a halt for a minute. And I don't know how to answer it, right? I said hello. I said, he said hello, son. I said hello. But as I'm going through all this stuff, I'm trying to figure out, how do I have a dad? I'm 55 years old. And the crazy part of this, guys, I'll give you a little bit of confession here as I'm talking about these things, is that I am actually, as I talk on this show, and as I've done this for, 1,700 episodes, or 1,500 episodes, or almost up to 1,500, I catch myself actually wondering, well, would my dad approve of that? And I've talked on this show 1,000 times, if I've said it once, that fathers create discernment in children. Keep your booger hook out of your nose. Keep your booger hook out of your buddy's nose. Don't itch your butt in public. These are things that dads do for you. They create a hesitation to make you a better person. And then just a little bit of who I am, I guess that I looked around and said, well, he's my dad. I don't want to disappoint him. And I will tell you this, guys, the saddest thing on this earth I will tell you this is right here. Listen to me. I want you to write this down. I want you to remember this for the rest of your life. Okay? When I talk about fathers needing to be in the home, when I talk about how we need, we got God out of the home, we got fathers in the home, and then we destroy the United States population and the social culture we had. When you think about, when I was sitting here thinking about it, it became so real to me, the necessity of a father in a human being's life. Now, guys, listen to me. I've had females in my life before. It's not a new thing. I've had 3 daughters. I've had 2 wives. I will tell you that I know what a woman is. And what men do for men, and even what men do for women, has been so underrated and undermined and rolled over and emasculated to the point, this is why no one has an answer. This is why women don't have an answer. This is why men don't have an answer. This is why kids don't have an answer. This is why everybody's out there looking. They're looking for an answer. They're pushing on the walls. They're trying to find, where is that discernment? Where is the hesitation before I put my booger hook up in my nose in public? Where's that moment that my dad said, don't be digging at your ass in front of people? Button your shirt up, comb your hair. Have you brushed your teeth? Go get your shoes on. We got to go. Let's get going. We got to grab this. We got to do that. This is what fathers do, and what fathers create is a better society. And I will tell you right now, in the moment that I had where I started thinking about whether what I say offends my father, is literally how this country will fall. Because no one, and I mean no one, that I can see gives 2 shits about disappointing their father. We have created a society that the father's expectations, the father's disappointment have almost a negative, meaning that if you make fathers disappointed, you are doing a positive in life. That's what I'm talking about. Guys, I will tell you the secret to all this. And you could go into this with religion. You can go into this with society. You can go into this with personal relationships. You can go into this anywhere you want. And I don't give two shits. I'll stand here all day long until I die. I will tell you right now, that is what we need as fathers in the home to create discernment. And I will tell you right now, I'm a one lucky MFer to have had any bit of morality or dignity or whatever it took and the intelligence to get here. Because here's the thing, at 55, and George doesn't know this, but I care about his opinion. I care about his opinion of me and what I do. I don't want to disappoint him, and I've never met the guy before. But my loyalty to someone who has called me his son, and as simple as that, I never asked for a written contract. I never asked for hurdles. I never asked for expectations. All I asked was someone to call me their son and mean it. My mother used me as currency. My mother used me as leverage. My mother used me as a way to open doors and get what she wanted and what she thought she needed. I was a currency. I was a monetary. I was a exchange. I was a quid pro quo. I was a this for that. So I was never a son. I was an object. I was something to be used. And so when he has said, hello, son, I mean, it really hit harder than he wanted it to. I don't know if he'd realize that. And so as we think about how we don't like our family because our family sucks, are you sure we don't like our family because our family sucks, or is it because we suck? Or because our family represents us, a reflection of who we are, and we don't like seeing that in ourselves. We don't like seeing the reflection of our inequities, the things that make us less than. I see how the reflection can hurt. Now, guys, I have a son who lives here with me, and he's 31, has his own stuff, does his own thing. He just got back from that training, which was no big deal. I have a daughter who's 36, 37, and she lives 2 miles away here, and I got Kimberly, and I have been a father as the best I can. But I will tell you this, guys, as a man who hasn't had a sip of water his entire life, it's kind of nice, isn't it? Kind of nice having a dad. So why do you guys keep screwing it up? Why? And listen to me. I'm not. No. Not one damn one of you. Not one. No. The whole society. We have to answer to what we have done as a society, as a group of individuals, as the earth. Why have we demonized the father? Why have we torn down the father? Why is it you don't care whether you disappoint a father? Who taught you that? Because the problem is that all the successes you see in so many things is because the father was there, because the father did exist. And I will tell you right now that the people who are out there, oh, my mom was a single mom, she's the greatest thing on earth. Every one of them will say, I would take a dad in a minute, because that's a hole in their heart, and they know they miss it. Yes, moms work their ass off and do the best they can, but men raise children, women nurture children. If you don't like that answer, then get off of earth. because that is the psychology, that is the proven psychology of it, that is the social norm, that is how our minds work, that's how our bodies work, that's how society works, that's how animals work. But no, we're humans. We figured it out so much better. Oh, you know what we need to do? Stop doing that thing that works all the time. Take them tires off of that truck. Let's roll it on the aluminum rims. Get on that metal. Let's do the metal rims. Screw them tires. We've been doing tires for way too long. Thank God we got rid of all them tires. We can just roll around on aluminum rims all day long. Thank God. Woo! Thank God I don't have to worry about buying tires no more. Screw them tires. Screw Dad. He sucks. Any of that make sense to you? Because literally, dads are what makes the world go round. Fathers are. And I don't care. Girls, come at me, throw shade, report my show, get me debunked or shadow banned or kicked off the platform, whatever it is. The sad part of it is that fathers create discernment. And without that, people are lost. And I will tell you, as much as I've had these discerning moments since having met or having been introduced to my dad, again, a very odd statement for me. It's like speaking some language I've never spoke before. I have even more discerning. I even question even more about questioning what I'm doing. I'm even going back and rehashing it. And so, real quick, I'm gonna try to get through this moment here. And I want you guys to bear with me for a second if I don't get all the way through it on the first try, but I'm going to do my best. So, over the weekend, I have a smoker grill and Green Mountain Grill, greatest grill ever, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, Green Mountain Grill killed it. But I ordered a plug because the plug was bad. I had the little fuse didn't fuse and it melted the little thingy, so you got to order a new $12 plug or whatever it is, right? And then got the plug in. Well, then the little heater coil that's in there where the pellets are at, well, that thing wasn't doing its heater coil thingy. I know that sounds me being very childish, but that's where we're at with this. And so yesterday I get an Amazon package at the door, and I'm like, cool, like, okay, that piece already came in. I'm gonna fix the grill this afternoon. And instead it was this cup. And there was no name from sender. It was just said Jim Price on the outside, blue Amazon poppy bag thing. And so on the back of it is this lion with a king. And so I don't know if you guys have kind of been around a little bit, but I have. There we go, without the glare on it. There we go. See that a little bit there. There has been, some people have mentioned that, my hair makes you look like a lion, different things like that. I thought it was very metaphorical, very quinkadink, those kind of things, that he sent me this cup with a lion with a golden crown, and the lightning kind of shooting through the face. I don't know if you can kind of see that. So, anyway, but on the other side is a statement. And this is the part where I'll try to figure this out. I didn't cry every time I've read it before, but hey, I'm doing it out loud. And so now, let me tell you something, guys. Saying things out loud make them real. Keeping things in a loop in your head is just you looping in your head. Once you start saying things out loud and making them real, you'll find out your reality will change. You have to tell your reality what you want. Stop living in your head. Stop using metaphors. Use direct language to the universe out loud. So I've said this in my head a few times, and let's see how we do here. So anyway, like I said, it's got the lions on the other side, and then there's this poem. To my son, I want you to believe that you're capable of achieving anything you put your mind to. You will never lose. You will either win or learn. Now, guys, if you know me, that's absolutely how I think. That's exactly what I talk about. That's exactly what we learn, right? There are 99 failures for every one victory. Takes 99 failures, 99 not getting theirs to get that one victory. But all of those were learning lessons on how to make it work, right? It's that old analogy, right? So anyway, going on, it says, you're capable of achieving anything you put your mind to. You will never lose. You either win or learn. I can't promise to be here for the rest of your life, but I can promise to love you for the rest of mine. There. See it right there. You know, guys, if I hear you guys bitching and moaning about your family, I hear you bitching and moaning about your dad or your mom or your sisters, or your brothers or your nephews or your cousins, it hurts. Because when people bitch about something they have and they've never not had it, they've never grown up without certain things. I mean, we're talking about a dad. Like, that's a big deal. A lot of people are like, oh, certain people never see their dad, this and that. Well, guys, when you find out that my mother lied for absolutely no reason, when there was no necessity in lying on my birth certificate about her birth date by 1 year and 1 day, I'm sitting here like I review these stories, and the first thing when he tells me his version of what happened, it made absolute sense. Because the version of what my mother told me and how she tried to explain it to me, and it never added up. Things did not make sense. Now, the person she was trying to please was my grandfather, who never talked to me my entire life. I think we probably had maybe 5 sentences my entire life. My grandmother, same thing. I never talked to them. I didn't see them until I was like in 6th grade, and then they acted like I was a pariah, and then I didn't see them again until I was like in my late 20s. See, my point is, guys, is that when my mother tells me a lie and I set up my mental history of what I experienced and what I was and who I was and what the things are in my life, when I'm putting all that together and it just doesn't seem to fit, it doesn't seem to feel right, and then when some stranger comes along and tells me in 2 seconds what the situation was, I say 2 seconds, it took about 5 minutes to tell the story, but when he tells me the story, it makes so much more sense. It's suddenly just like, this is exactly what happened. So my mother is trying to please my step-grandmother, marries a guy because she's pregnant. She has me, then divorces him, but then never talks to my grandfather and my step-grandfather and grandmother again. She hasn't talked to him for years. So she's trying to please somebody else. She's lying the whole way through the whole thing. She's got this guy, Ralph Price, involved, which, again, never met the guy, carrying his name, The Jim Price Show, right? But then, who she said I was named after, which, again, I have to question this, is that her brother, Jimmy, or James Jr., I was named after him because he had actually drowned in the family pool in the backyard. That's what I was told. I have no way of answering that. Because at this point, there's only like one human being on earth, and that's my Aunt Connie, and I don't know if she would actually know the truth on that or not, whether my mom just told her the same thing. So I don't know if she named me Jim out of reverence for my grandfather or what would have been my uncle, step-uncle, or half-uncle. Half-uncle, whatever it is. And so the lesson to all this is, yes, I have had to deal with things that probably were completely unnecessary. And I will go with, yeah. But guys, do not tell me your family isn't worth it. Do not tell me your family isn't this. Just shut up about all the negative things you say about your family. Because I have been accused of things that I have never done by my own family, by my own wife. Things that have been said about me have been absolutely amazing. And I don't know why we go out of our way to tell the most horrific, made-up shit about our families and about our friends and about our kids, about our parents, about our aunts and our uncles and our cousins and nephews and nieces. Why is it that we can be so cruel? But yet I'm sitting here as a man telling you, you guys don't understand the gift that is. Oh, yeah, Jim, you've never had a dad. You don't know. Do you know what it's like to never have a father, smart ass? You know what it's like to never have a goddamn father? Seriously, answer the question. Not even like a father figure. I mean, Charlie did it when he could, but then my mother made it so bad, and I couldn't call, no, don't call him dad. Don't call Marge mom. I'm like, okay, I got that. I wasn't trying to. But she made it so bad when she would drop me off that I was in terror that I might screw up and disappoint her while I'm gone because she's got all this shit in my head. Guys, when you don't have something and you finally receive it, you wonder why other people don't want it and don't beg for it. My brother or my sister suck. Screw them, Mom. Screw you, Dad. I don't need a dad. I'm better without a dad. Any of this that is being said is absolutely retarded. Mentally retarded. Your brain does not function in the areas that it should properly. You are retarded to say that you don't need family. Guys, I did that almost my whole life. I went out and created a family. I had kids. I tried to have a family. And then that was torn away from me. Why? Why do people not want to be in families? I guess you guys really need to fill me in on this shit. Why don't you want family? What makes you so cool that you think that you could create a better bond with someone other than your blood? Oh, because they pissed me off, and Dad's a jerk, and Mom's an idiot, and I just can't believe she married him. What a bunch of stupid shit. Oh, dibber-dibber-dibber-doo. Sounds like a bunch of selfishness from you. Sounds like a bunch of self-centered sinning to me. I don't think you should be out there running your mouth about getting rid of family unless you got your heart right. Maybe you need to figure your shit out first before you tell your family they suck. And that's where the ego comes in. Because you're not willing to be wrong. Your family is. And because they're your family, you know they can't go anywhere. They'll always be your family. And you can treat them like shit, and you can call them horrible things, and they're still your family. Isn't that amazing? My ex-wife is no longer my wife. Because she's my ex. That's it. It's over. Done. Split the sheets. Done. Bye. But a family. I hate that guy. My brother's an idiot. My sister's a stupid cunt. I can't believe they can't understand. Lucky you can't get to that. I can't believe. When I hear this, I just sit there and I'm like, what the are you talking? Well, my dad. I just can't put up with him. He is just so stupid. I can't put up. My mother, you just listen to her talk, and I'm just done with it. So who died and made you God? Who died and made you perfect? Who died and said, yeah, you're the authority on all that is family? Why don't you put a little effort and selflessness into your family and find out what you get? Guys, when I talk about selflessness, I really don't know if you guys understand what selflessness really means. To do things without ever expecting anything in return, doing things without anybody knowing, to not get credit for something you're doing. That's what we're talking about here. All right, guys, it's been good to see you. I didn't mean to go too hard on you. I mean to be mad at you, like, rah! But guys, when I hear people tell me that families suck and then I'm just now discovering mine, sounds a little foolish. You know, I always wanted kids, wanted a dad, had the kids, finally got the dad. So we're going to figure a few things out. There looks like there'll be a couple trips or something and for me to go and see and maybe develop that relationship in a way that we can figure it out. But I am looking forward to it. And like I said, I have a bit more discernment than I used to have because I don't want to disappoint my dad. And I don't even know him fully. I don't even know, understand him yet. I don't know all his stuff. But I tell you, there's a lot of things about me. I catch the way he talks, his words, the word structures he uses, word placement, different things like that. I will tell you, it's been neat to see because I'm seeing the nurture versus nature part of him, and it makes me feel good that there is a part of me that I know why I am the way I am, and it's because I have a dad, and that's what we all should be able to say. All right, guys, well, that's going to be about it for me. It's good seeing you guys. Remember the 10% we do for our neighbor, community, city, county, state, the federal government. The more you do for them, the less they have to do for you. Learn how to be selfless and not so damn selfish. The world will be a far, far better place. Remember, hold the line, hold fast, do not give up, do not give in. We'll win. I promise I promise I can't keep, guys. You've always been the answer out there. Remember that Constitution? Well, that limits the government, but never limits you. Guys, understand your authority that we live in a constitutional representative republic. Don't give up on that. All right, guys, good seeing you out there. I didn't mean to go too long on that whole thing about dad and all that, but it is a part of my life that I am trying to process through, get through these things, kind of learn my new balance of things. I'm not in any way like dizzy or not happy about it, but it is a new feeling. It is a new emotion. It is a part of my life I have not developed. I am very retarded on how to have a dad. I've been a dad for almost 40 years, and I just don't know what it's like to be a son to a dad. So, anyway. All right, guys, that's going to be about it for me. I'm going to get out of here. Love conquers all, says Charlie. Absolutely. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. You guys all good to... Try that again. Here we go. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. You guys all be good to each other out there, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.